Hello everyone, I am Amin. Welcome to BYK Book Summary. Here we decide the mindset and story of the world's most successful icon and the most powerful books that saved them. Our mission is to bring you deep insight, your personal growth, joining me to simplify this concept is my AI research co-host. Let's dive into today's journey of knowledge.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a book that's more than just a story, it's a global phenomenon. We're talking about Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. I mean, this book has sold over 65 million copies, which is just incredible. But honestly, it's so much more than a bestseller. It's really a kind of roadmap for finding your own purpose in life.
So that quote you're seeing, that's really the soul of the entire book. This idea that if you truly chase your destiny, what the book calls your personal legend, the universe literally has your back. But here's what makes this story so powerful. It's almost a mirror of the author's own wild journey. And let me tell you, it did not start with success. It started with some serious rejection. So let's see how these two stories unfold, side by side. Okay, so we're going to track two journeys at once here. On one hand, we've got the hero of the book, a fictional shepherd boy named Santiago, and on the other, the author himself, Paulo Coelho. Both of them, in their own way, heard a call to adventure and had to decide if they were going to answer it.
So on one side, you've got Paulo Coelho, growing up in Rio de Janeiro. His big dream, his personal legend, was to be a writer. And on the other side, you've got his character, Santiago. He's this young shepherd in Spain, and his destiny comes to him in a recurring dream. A dream about a hidden treasure, all the way over at the Egyptian pyramids.
But, chasing a dream like that is never, ever easy. The universe might help, sure, but it's also going to throw some major tests your way. And for both Coelho and Santiago, the obstacles they hit, well, they seemed totally impossible to overcome, especially right at the start.
So take a look at this. This is infection. This is Coelho's actual life. His own parents thought his desire to be a writer was so crazy, they had him committed to a psychiatric hospital 3 times. Can you imagine? And then, even after all that, when he finally writes The Alchemist, it's a total flop. The initial publisher rejects it, the few copies they print don't sell, and finally, they just cancel his contract. His dream was pretty much dead in the water.
And Santiago's story, it echoes that same despair almost perfectly. He sells everything he owns, his entire flock of sheep, to chase the stream. He gets to Morocco, and within a day, bam, he's robbed of every last penny. So now he's stranded, broke, all alone in a country where he doesn't even speak the language. This is his first huge test.
So how do you come back from a low point like that? Well, for both of them, the only way forward was to start looking at the world in a new way. They had to learn to read the signs, to see the messages the universe was sending that most of us would just call a coincidence. And this new perspective, it changes everything.
The book has a really beautiful name for this idea, the soul of the world. It's this belief that everything, and I mean everything, the desert sand, the wind, an animal, a human heart, it's all connected. It's all part of one big living spirit. And this spirit is always talking, always communicating, but you have to be paying attention to hear it.
So you might be asking, how does this soul of the world talk to you? Well, it's through what the book calls omens. And we're not talking about some vague, spooky feeling. These are real, physical things. It could be a conversation you overhear at just the right moment, or a chance encounter that feels significant. For someone on their path, these little coincidences are basically a roadmap from the universe.
And by going through all these struggles and learning to read the omens, our travelers, both the real one and the fictional one, stumbled upon 4 really big truths. And these truths are basically the heart of the book's philosophy, a kind of guide for anyone who's on their own journey.
Okay, these 4 insights pretty much create a framework for the whole journey. Let's walk through them one by one. First up is this concept called maktub. It's an Arabic phrase you'll see a lot in the book, and it means it is written. But here's the key. This isn't about being passive and just letting fate happen to you. It means your destiny is already there. It's written, yeah, but you have to actively get up and walk toward it to make it happen. Destiny isn't going to just show up at your door. All right, next up is what the book calls beginner's luck. Think about it, that first rush of easy success when you start something new. The book says that's no fluke. It's actually the universe giving you a little taste of what's possible, to test your commitment before the really tough challenges arrive. And then, of course, we have the soul of the world, that universal language of omens that we were just talking about. Learning to hear that language is absolutely crucial. But it also leads you right up to the final and, frankly, the most difficult test of the entire journey. And what is that test? It's the heart's fear. The closer you get to your dream, the louder that voice in your head gets, the one that's screaming about failure. The alchemist in the story teaches that conquering this enemy inside yourself, that's often the very last battle you have to win.
So, they went through all of that. They faced their fears. They followed the signs. So what happens when they finally get there? What was the big treasure at the end of the road? Well, it was not at all what they expected, because the journey itself had completely changed the meaning of success.
Let's look at Coelho first. Remember, his first publisher dropped him, but he just refused to give up. He found another publisher who believed in him, and well, the rest is history. His book became this massive global phenomenon. So for him, the treasure wasn't just getting a book published. It was the proof, the undeniable proof, that his personal legend was real all along.
And Santiago, our shepherd, after this incredible, life-changing journey across an entire desert, he finally makes it to the Egyptian pyramids. And what does he find out? He learns that the literal physical treasure he'd been looking for was buried back home in Spain, right where he started.
And that right there, that's the whole point. It's the book's biggest lesson. The gold was never the real treasure. The real treasure was everything he became along the way. It was the wisdom, the resilience, the love. The fact that he learned to speak the language of the world. The journey itself was the reward.
And so, when you close the book, it leaves you with this one giant, powerful question. Because it was never really just about a shepherd boy, was it? It's about all of us. It asks you directly, what is your...
So friends, those were the powerful insight that can truly transform your life. Remember, growth doesn't come from the just listening, but from applying this lesson. If you want to get 1% better every day, make sure to subscribe and follow BYK Book Summary. I am Amin, and I will see you in the next episode with another incredible story. Until then, read more, think deeper, and live with meaning.